Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video I'll be doing the last in, I guess, commas, game of the round between Fremantle and Hawthorn, even though this was a Saturday night game because I got my recording schedule messed up and did the Sunday games before the Saturday afternoon and night games. So before we get into the video, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on so you know when I upload, and let's get into the game. So as you can see here, BRAYSHAW a 157, and he's the only real big guy that I maybe would have missed on, but it would have meant fielding. Philippou would have been fine to actually field. I lost like 12 points off not fielding Philippou over Mitchell, but Philippou is going to be gone next week. So, I mean, it would have been fielding Mitchell and fielding Philippou, and then I would have been able to get BRAYSHAW, but it wouldn't have allowed me to get McPherson. So in the end, it kind of works both ways. BRAYSHAW is a guy that I'm looking into. If Marshall and Ashcroft both go down, he will be the replacement for Ashcroft. So yeah, he's finally hit form, and he looks like a guy that can easily score 130 each week. Jackson, 117, just wouldn't look into it much. He's had so many on and off games. I mean, I think he's turned up 3 times, but also had a couple of like 50 scores as well. Like if we look here, Jackson, hasn't turned up as I thought he did, but he's had a 95 game, a 117, but then a 59, 52, 59, 58. So yeah, just wouldn't look into him at all because he's going to drop a 59 or a 58 next week. O'Meara 103, wouldn't look too much into that. Luke Ryan 102, averaging 102 for the year. I think this guy is the problem is that he has a really good fantasy role, but he's just terrible as an AFL distributor, puts so much more pressure on other people with just lazy kicks. So if I was an actual fantasy owner, I wouldn't be too mad about him, but if I was a coach or something like that, I wouldn't necessarily want him leading the distribution. Then you have Hayden Young. He went 102, finally got involved. So we're probably going to have to see a couple rounds of him doing it and lifting that like per 3-game average. As if we look at Young, you are not picking up. And we'll see here. He's actually got last 3 of 97, last 5 of 90. He's starting to pick it up. I think we need to see one more game of him doing it, and then we can pick him up post-buy at probably will be around 800k or so, and that'll be huge. Sarong, a little drop, so yeah, just didn't get involved as much. O'Driscoll, 86. Somehow wingers just pop up and sometimes just go big, especially in these high fancy sort of teams. Then you have Erasmus here, somehow got to 85, and I thought he'd actually lose money, but he ended up making something like 15-20k or something. So I'm just waiting to see if that holds that scoring, because if he's scoring 85, 90 or so as a like 500k guy, that could be interesting. Aish, Frederick, Darcy, Banfield, Clark, Amos, Cox, low scoring for a defender. I mean, was he playing defender role? Yeah, I think he was. Hughes, another defender that goes low. Walker, Walter, Switkowski, Schultz. 5 came on and they actually looked pretty damaging, but I mean, he scored 38 in the end, so it doesn't really matter. Pierce is one of the worst captains, it seems like, in the AFL at this point, and obviously not fantasy relevant as a key defender. And then Tracy just got subbed out. Then we move over to Hawthorn, and it was Morrison that got the ton, just on the back of a huge last 3 quarters where he made 92. Nash, 97, wouldn't look too much into him as he's another 70 guy. Amon, the 70 guy, getting an 87 score, wouldn't look much into that. Hardwick's an interesting one, but I think he's so inconsistent that I wouldn't go for him. Then you have Will Day, who averaged 103 and got in the end 85. Just a couple of bad quarters, I think, and I think you can really look to him to have, that's his bottom out game at 85. he has the potential to go like 120, 130, so you kind of need him in the side at the moment as like an under 800k guy that can go, that's averaging 100 plus. Then you have Dylan Moore, sorry, not Darcy Moore, Dylan Moore, 82. I think he's just not on it this year. I think he sort of got worked out of the midfield. Then you have Warple here, and he started really, really well, but then just sort of faded a lot and ended up on a 78 when I thought he'd get a ton again. But it's just good cash gen at this point, and if we look at Warple, I'm pretty sure his break even is 80 odd. Nope, 72. That's fine. He'll get close to that again, and yeah. And then we can trade him out in a couple of weeks potentially and really get some better midfielders in and start to really, I guess, finish off the midfield or get it up to 5 or 6 legitimate premiums. And then, as you can see in my midfield at the moment, discount, Rosie is probably not going to be my captain, but at the moment I have 5 or 4 legitimate premiums in there, and then Warple and Ashcroft in there as well. But I've finished out pretty much my forward and defensive lines, so it's about focusing on the midfield now, and Warple is one that I'm looking at. Do I upgrade now, or do I hold him and upgrade my rookies out at the moment? Then you have Meek, who did alright. Newcomb, another down game from him, and he's looked really disappointing at times this year, but also really damaging, so it's a really hard one to judge. I just don't like his fancy output at the moment, but I think it could just be a rough patch. Same goes with Sicily. He's a really good fantasy scorer when they kick it around the ground, but when he's given the tough matchup of defending a key forward and sticking on him, he really struggles, and that was shown by when he scored a 49 or something like that, and he's not really picked it up too much since then. I mean, let's go back here. A 49, then a 78, then a 115, 96, and 70 from a guy that was 900k. Now he's 801k, and he's looking to go into the 700s. So I just don't know with him. I think there's other players around him that can score better. Mitch Lewis didn't get the 94 this week, got 69. So back to normal for a key forward. Then you have Scrimshaw here. Got the full game and ended up on a 60. And yeah, just didn't look too damaging. MP 58, Wingard 56. Mitchell really didn't go too well for him, but in the end got the cash gen needed. And I mean, his break even, I think it's 17 this week, so he'll hit that and gain some more cash and get towards that 400k mark. What's he at now? He's at 358, and he's even on my bench at the moment because I have enough. I guess I have enough players to be able to, like, in other lines, so he's the one that gets to be in that forward line as the emergency, and hopefully I won't have to go 2 emergencies in the midfield next week, as a late captaincy decision made me do that, and I'll go through that in my video tomorrow about that. Then you have Ward here, 52, just really disappointing. McDonald's, 50, another disappointing effort. Frost, yeah, just gave away a lot of stuff and did his usual Bozo Gene type of plays. And then you have Weddle, 46, just didn't get the fantasy scoring that I think other people hoped, and I thought that would be the case. Reeves, Brockman, Bramble, and then Green got subbed out on 6. Don't know if it was an injury concern or just subbed out because he did absolutely nothing. I mean, you've got here, and he had, 2, 3, 4 handballs and a free kick for and a free kick against. So nothing kicks-wise or scoring-wise, and that's why he ended up on a 6 and really stopped his cash gen and has a massive break-even next week. So that's the video there of the Hawthorn vs Fremantle game and the last review of the round. And then tomorrow we'll come out with the AFL Fantasy team review for the round. And then I'll come out with my trade targets, cash cows, and my video on my team for next week. So thanks guys, and I'll see you guys in another video.